Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move that Parliament approve that 1. Pursuant to Section 12(1) of the Audit Act 1969 and Section 152, subsection 13 of the Constitution of the Republic of Fiji, the Auditor General submit the report on the audit of the whole of government financial statements for financial year ending 31 December 2015 to the Speaker of Parliament and a copy to the Minister responsible for finance within 15 months of the end of that financial year to enable the report to be tabled at this sitting of Parliament. And 2. Pursuant to Section 45 of the Financial Management Act 2004 and Section 152(14) of the Constitution of the Republic of Fiji, the Minister responsible for finance table the annual report for the whole of government for the financial year ending 31 December 2015 within 15 months of the end of the financial year to enable the report to be tabled at this sitting of Parliament. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Do you have a seconder?
Madam Speaker, I beg to second the motion.
Thank you. I invite the Honourable Gentleman to speak on this motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Section 152 of the Constitution deals with the Auditor General and reports of the Auditor General. Section 152, subsection 1 of the Constitution states that, and I quote, at least once in every year, the Auditor General shall inspect, audit and report to Parliament on the public accounts of the state, the control of public money and public property of the state, and all transactions with or concerning the public money or public property of the state, unquote. Madam Speaker, Section 152(13) of the Constitution states that, and I quote, the Auditor General must submit a report by him or her to the Speaker of Parliament and must submit a copy to the Minister responsible for finance, unquote. Section 152(14), the next subsection, then provides that, quote, within 30 days of receipt, or if Parliament is not sitting on the first day after the end of the period, the Minister responsible for finance must lay the report before Parliament, unquote. Section 12(1) of the Audit Act, Madam Speaker, 1969, which was, and this particular provision was inserted in May of 2006, states that, quote, a report of the Auditor General to Parliament about an audit must be submitted to the Speaker of Parliament within 9 months after the financial year to which the audit relates, or within a longer period appointed by a resolution of Parliament, unquote. Thus, Madam Speaker, the report for the 2015 financial year should have been submitted by 30 September 2016, given the first part of the particular provision in the Audit Act. Or, Madam Speaker, should be submitted to the Speaker within such longer period as approved or appointed by the resolution of Parliament. Madam Speaker, the 2015 financial year report has not yet been submitted to the Minister or to the Speaker. But we are informed by the Office of the Auditor General that it is ready for submission to both the Speaker and myself as the Minister responsible for finance under the purview of Ministry of Economy. Once I have received a copy of the audited financial statements from the Auditor General, I will then be able to table the 2015 annual report to Parliament in accordance with the requirements of the Financial Management Act 2004, as the annual report must include the financial statements as audited by the Auditor General. Madam Speaker, accordingly, this motion seeks the approval from Parliament, as allowed for in the law, for the submission of the Auditor General's report on the audit of the whole of government financial statements for financial year ending 31 December 2015 and the tabling of the annual report in Parliament within 15 months of the end of that financial year. Madam Speaker, once Parliament has approved the motion, the Office of the Auditor General will deliver the report to the Speaker and myself, and in accordance with Section 152(40) of the Constitution, the report will be tabled in Parliament tomorrow. Madam Speaker, the claim by Honourable Prasad, I think, through the media, that the delay is, and I quote, a gross breach of the Constitution, unquote, is legally not correct. The Constitution, as cited above, Madam Speaker, does not provide any time limits as to when the Auditor General should provide the report to the Minister. All the Constitution says, Madam Speaker, is that once the Minister receives it, once I receive the report, the Minister must then table the report within 30 days or at the next sitting of Parliament. So that's where the specific time is stated. The allegation further also, Madam Speaker, as I think it was in Fiji Times or what we call FT or OT, Opposition Times, the allegation that the delay is a breach of the Audit Act, Madam Speaker, is also legally flawed, given that whilst the Act states that the report must be submitted within 9 months, it expressly allows Parliament by resolution to approve a longer period if obviously the Auditor General has not got it ready. If he has not got it ready, then we cannot submit it to Parliament. And therefore, the Act, quite wisely, envisages a situation where the Auditor General may not be able to get it ready, and therefore there is a provision that allows Parliament for it to be tabled later. The allegation that the Minister should have sought approval in September 2016, that is before the expiry of the 9 months, is for a longer period for the tabling 2015 report, is also legally flawed. The Audit Act does not say anything about when the resolution of Parliament must be sought. It does not say it must be sought out before the 15 months expires. It is more practical, obviously, for the Minister to seek the resolution of Parliament only when the Minister actually knows when that report is ready. If I came here and said, let's get an extension till tomorrow, and if it's not ready till tomorrow, then the motion has no validity. Madam Speaker, there's also some absurd allegations that were also made, that the delay is causing grave doubts on the authenticity of the report. It ignores the independence of the Auditor General. Madam Speaker, the Auditor General, his or her independence is enshrined in the Constitution. And it states, Madam Speaker, now let me read it out. Section 152, subsection 5 of the Constitution states that, and I quote, "In the performance of his or her functions, or the exercise of his or her authority and powers, the Auditor General shall be independent and shall not be subject to the direction or control of any person or authority except by a court of law or as otherwise prescribed by written law." Madam Speaker, this casting aspersions on an independent body. It's like saying, oh, the judge did not deliver his judgment on time, therefore the judge must be doing something funny. That's what they're saying. Madam Speaker, indeed the effect of section 152 subsection 2 or subsection 5 is that even the Minister cannot direct the Auditor General on anything with respect to the report, including demanding that the report be submitted at any time. I can't go and say to him, hey, it's nearly 15 months, do the report now. He'll tell me to bugger off. I can't even do that. Madam Speaker, the constitutional independence of the Auditor General ensures that the Auditor General is free to report as he wishes, and the Minister must table that report in Parliament once a copy is submitted to the Minister. If the report is submitted to the Minister after 9 months, the Minister must, upon receipt of the report, then seek a resolution of Parliament to approve the tabling of the report and then table the report as approved by Parliament. Madam Speaker, the key reason, from what we are being told by the Auditor General's Office, for the delay in the release of the report was mainly due to the realignment and validation of financials based on the cash basis or IPSAS, given that government is in the transition phase of adopting international public sector accounting as part of its financial management reform. So obviously, Madam Speaker, the Auditor General needs to ensure that when they carry out the audit and when they give the report, it is in conformity with these international standards that we are trying to adopt, and therefore will, on a practical basis, carry out our accounting on that basis. Madam Speaker, the initial step is to adopt cash basis or IPSAS reporting. In this regard, Madam Speaker, the statements of budget and actual comparison is prepared based on cash basis as per the requirement of the cash basis or IPSAS requirement. Advice, Madam Speaker, we understand, was also sought from the Pacific Financial Technical Assistance Center, or PIFTEC, as most people know it, which is the IMF Regional Technical Assistance Center on these same issues, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, with that background, we'd like to get Parliament to support this motion, which is a fairly straightforward motion, Madam Speaker, so at least the Auditor General's report can be tabled. We understand if this is approved by Parliament today, they can submit it to us tomorrow. We can table it tomorrow, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, as you normally do, you direct it to the Public Accounts Committee. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The floor is open for debate. Honorable Nawaipulo.
Madam Speaker, this motion is asking that we give an extra 15 months. See, the government cannot deny the fact that it has not followed what the law requires initially. It has delayed the submission of this report, like many things that the law requires of the government, and the government has failed them, like even their promises that they have done and they have not done so. This is a clear example of the delay of an inaction by the government. And there are many examples here in this House, even promises. Well, I'll give you examples. Even the Prime Minister supposed to table here the report on the constitutional officers, and he hasn't done so. The Honorable Attorney General, National Development Plan, second stage, hasn't done so. The annual report for Fiji Airways hasn't done so. The Minister for Education, simple things like the kitchen in QVS, it has to take the Honorable Prime Minister to show him what to do. Prime Minister, the Honorable Minister for Education, and the Honorable Minister for Housing and Planning, he promised elections in August 2015 or 2014, haven't done so. These are examples of what the government is supposed to do, and they haven't done it. Same here. Same here. The law says 9 months. 9 months, and if we want an extension, you don't have it as of right. No. You must come here and give your explanations here. You must tell us. You must tell us the reasons for the delay. Why? Why were you sitting on this? You haven't given an explanation. The explanation given by the Attorney General gives the impression that they have a right to this. You don't have any right to this. You must observe what the law says, which says within 8 months. Within 8 months, you must submit this report. And if not, you come here and you don't get it out of right, but you give your explanation. What's the reason for the delay? Why were you sitting on the job? Like many things. Like many things. Sleeping, doing nothing. And this is the reason, Madam Speaker, why they will be going out next year. You ask every single person in the street, they've had enough of you. They had enough of you. You will not be here. No, you will be here, but you will be in this side. No, simple. Simple things, Madam Speaker. They should not come here and get this out of right. You should explain, give your explanation, and you should convince this House why were you sitting on the job. Why did you not submit these things within 8 months? You have to come here by motion and get the House to agree. Not as of right, but you should agree, you should convince us why we should say yes to the extension. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Women Person.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Unsurprisingly, I was listening to the Honourable Attorney General on the explanation, and then I looked at the analysis in one of the newspapers. Sounded very familiar.
Maybe you should start reading.
I do, because I know it's a taxpayers' exclusive advertising newspaper.
By tender.
Madam Speaker, The fact that the Honorable Attorney General has brought this motion seeking the resolution of the House actually suggests that there was a breach of the Constitution. And in a way, he agrees with what I said. And obviously, Madam Speaker, this resolution is necessary for him to table the report tomorrow. And it may well, obviously, it's going to be approved. But we on this side of the House, Madam Speaker, believe that the accountability and transparency is the responsibility of this Parliament. This Parliament is a supreme oversight body. This is where we make legislations. This is where people send us to ensure that we maintain at all times the intention and the objective of provisions in the Constitution and other legislations. It may well be, Madam Speaker, that there is a different interpretation, and my understanding of what the Honourable Attorney General was saying is that there is a different interpretation of the Constitution, because we need to go to the court to test that, whether you are right or whether we are right. We need a constitutional, we will. But the fact of the matter is, Madam Speaker, that this government is not owning up to the fact that the Auditor General's report should have been tabled at least, if not in the September session, because that was a special session. There was no session of Parliament after September until February. The report should have been tabled in February. And I don't buy the Attorney General's and the Auditor General, the new Auditor General's excuses that there was no Auditor General. There was an acting Auditor General. There was an acting Auditor General. Madam Speaker, Auditor General's reports are very important reports. On one hand, it can provide the confidence to the people. It can be helpful to the government, that the government over a period of a year has been able to run its financial systems, expenditure, the taxpayers' funds are used properly. This is the confidence that the people want, and this is why it is very important that the Auditor General's office, if we are hearing today that there is an excuse, whatever the excuse, whether it was the inability of the Constitutional Officers Commission since 2014 to appoint a new Auditor General, or that the acting Auditor General did not have the resources to produce the report, these are all questions that the people would be asking. I mean, we can argue about the interpretation of the Constitution, but the fact of the matter is that there is an issue about transparency, accountability and oversight. And I think it is the responsibility of any government or any parliament or any government to ensure that that central oversight process is understood and done in a timely manner at an appropriate time as stipulated in the Constitution. I know, Madam Speaker, the government changed the standing orders to remove me as the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. I'm not complaining. I'm fine, Madam Speaker. And I hope that the government understands, because we're not talking about this government or another government tomorrow. They may be there next election, they may not be there. The important thing is, Madam Speaker, that we need to put in practice. Sometimes, you can have very strict technical interpretation of the Constitution. But that's not the point. The point is that the understanding always was, and that is why the Act says that, and also the Constitution followed that as well, of 9 months. It's not about the Attorney General not receiving the report. Okay, I can understand he didn't receive the report, or Madam Speaker, you didn't receive the report. But there's no blame game here about you or the Attorney General. But it's about the Office of the Auditor General. And I think as a Parliament, and the Attorney General himself as the Chief Legal Advisor to government, and perhaps to this Parliament on many occasions, he needs to interpret that provision as requiring the Parliament to receive the Auditor General's report within a stipulated time. And the Auditor General, and if the Attorney General cannot, if he says that the Auditor General's office is independent, is the chairman of the Constitutional Officers Commission, which is the appointing authority.
I'm not referring.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm referring to the chairman of the Constitutional Officers Commission. They also have a responsibility. The Prime Minister has a responsibility to ensure that those responsible for ensuring that we adhere to the norms, the requirements of the oversight process, that they do their work. So, Madam Speaker, I really think that we should. I would have expected the Attorney General to frame this motion in a slightly different way, to say, look, there was a lapse. The report was not presented in 9 months. I seek Parliament's resolution to table this report tomorrow. I would have supported that motion. But this motion about 15 months is applying to 2015 report. But I hope that it does not become a precedent for all future reports. I hope that it will be done within the 9 months after the end of the financial year. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Aiyaz Sayed-Khaiyum.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to speak on this motion and in support of my two colleagues on the questions of timing of this motion, as already been alluded to. The question, Madam Speaker, is why 15 months? Maybe because it will be presented tomorrow. And I hear the Honourable Minister for Economy saying that they have no control. Unfortunately, I say that he has control. If he goes back one section from the Audit Act, Section 11, it requires that the Ministry is supposed to present to the Auditor General 6 months after the end of the financial year. So that is a reasoning that we didn't hear him saying. So whether the report were presented on time to the Auditor General for them to conduct their audit, or did they actually present it late, thus resulting in the request for a 15 months period for submission. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. There being no other input, I invite the Honourable Attorney General to speak in reply.
Madam Speaker, sometimes when the opposition responds or speaks, we actually left quite stunned because of the quality of the contribution. It's really quite out of this world. Honourable Nawaikula, unfortunately, Madam Speaker, sometimes he borders on not being taken seriously all the time. Madam Speaker, he is telling me, he is saying to this Parliament that we want 15 months. It's from the 15 months from the end of the financial year. So that 15 months, Madam Speaker, ends this month. It ends this month. It's 15 months from the end of December 2015. Not 15 months from today. He did not say that. You said it. He did not say it. Madam Speaker, that's the other issue. Number two, he says I was sitting on the job. I don't do the audit. I don't do the audit. It's done by the Auditor General. How can I be sitting on the job for something that I'm not supposed to be doing? I'm not supposed to be doing in the first place. You see, this is kind of really frivolous comments coming from the other side. because they just really want to sort of pick on things for the sake of it. Honorable Prasad may be an economist, which we sometimes doubt, but Madam Speaker, again, he's talking about legal aspects. Let me read this out. He said it is subject to interpretation. Subsection 13 of section 152 of the Constitution says, the Auditor General must submit a report made by him or her to the Speaker of Parliament and must submit a copy to the Minister responsible for finance. That's it. It does not give a time frame. So, he must submit it to the Minister responsible for finance. Then the Audit Act kicks in. The Audit Act says, and this was, mind you, Madam Speaker, inserted in May in 2006. Maybe the government at that point in time inserted these amendments because they were actually late too, the Auditor General. Think about why these amendments were made then. Honourable Leader of Opposition may know better than us, because she was the only one there. And it says, Madam Speaker, a report of the Auditor General to Parliament about an audit must be submitted to the Speaker of Parliament within 9 months after the financial year to which the audit relates, or within a longer period appointed by a resolution of Parliament. So if it's to with 2015, the Constitution says, Madam Speaker, that the Auditor General must submit a report made by him or her and submit a copy to the Minister responsible for Finance. They have to do that. And to you, Madam Speaker. Then the Audit Act, not the Constitution, describes a time frame. The Audit Act says within 9 months from the end of the financial year. For the end of financial year of December 2015, by September last year, 9 months. Or, if they obviously don't do it, then you must have a resolution appointed by Parliament. Then, Madam Speaker, then the Constitution kicks in, because he's going on about the breach of the Constitution. The Constitution then kicks in. Again, subsection 14. It says, within 30 days of receipt, or if Parliament is not sitting, on the first day after the end of the period. So once we get the report, once, Madam Speaker, you get the report, I get the report, within 30 days, the Minister responsible for Finance must lay the report in Parliament. Because as has been highlighted by everybody from this side of the House and that side of the House, the Parliament is the one that will scrutinize the Auditor General's report. This is why the Constitution, that's the only time frame the Constitution gives. And that time frame relates to, once the report is received, then we must table it within 30 days. Or if Parliament is not going to meet within the 30 days, the next sitting date. That's the time frame, Madam Speaker. So, Honourable Prasad is legally incorrect by saying that what we are doing today is a constitutional breach. It's not a constitutional breach. It is not a constitutional breach, Madam Speaker, number one. Number two, Madam Speaker, the Audit Act says that if there is a longer period required, then we file a motion, we get a resolution by way of a motion through Parliament, and Parliament approves it. Madam Speaker, and that's precisely what we are doing. That's precisely what we are doing, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, again, Madam Speaker, he's reading things which he's not seeing. That's the problem. Because, Madam Speaker, again, like I said this morning and yesterday, they want to plug things away. You see, they have these Fiji Times, whatever, available to them. They go and make these grand statements, and they run the stories for them. They feel good about it. They want to create this ruckus about government. Yes, we gave it to them. They asked us. Absolutely. It's legally correct. It's legally correct. It's legally correct. It's legally correct. I'm not here to answer your media criticism. Madam Speaker, the fact of the matter is this. They are caught with their pants down, figuratively speaking. They are caught with their pants down because Honourable Prasad loves to go out and make these statements which are legally flawed, which are legally fought. His voice is now being raised because he's again caught with his pants down. He's now yelling because he knows he's on the wrong. And Madam Speaker, the point of the matter is this. This is a very simple matter. At the end of the day, what is the objective? At the end of the day, what is the objective? At the end of the day, the objective is, Madam Speaker, to get the Auditor General's report to this Parliament. Get the Auditor General's report to this Parliament so the Public Accounts Committee can view it. We have been, Madam Speaker, we have given the reasons that were given to us by the Auditor General. They have read into it. He went and made grandiose statements to the media. Oh, just because the COC did not meet, just because there was no Auditor General for a long period of time, there was an acting Auditor General, that's why it has been delayed. He obviously seems to know what's going on in the Auditor General's office more than us. That's a fact. He seems to know more than what's going on. Maybe you have inside information in the Auditor General's office which we don't. Maybe there are people talking to you. Maybe you are compromising the Auditor General's independence. Oh, maybe you are compromising. We don't even know that. And regarding resources, Madam Speaker, regarding resources, we gave the Auditor General's budget an increase. We gave the Auditor General's report an increase. So, Madam Speaker, you see, we understand your embarrassment. It's okay. We understand, Madam Speaker, but the fact of the matter is, by having this motion, Madam Speaker, before the House, will be able to then allow the Auditor General's report to be tabled in Parliament. And Madam Speaker, the fact of the matter is that this matter again is being obfuscated. It's a very simple matter. The Auditor General has given his reasons. He's a new Auditor General. He needs to be supported. He needs to be supported. And Madam Speaker, he's given his reasons. And we need to move along. The Auditor General has given his report. The Public Accounts Committee, which Honourable Aseri Rondo seems to be very active on, he can scrutinize it as much as he likes. He can ask as many questions as he likes. If the Auditor General is flawed, he can pick it up, because you're all very astute people. So, Madam Speaker, the fact of the matter is that this motion is here to ensure that we get the Auditor General's report tabled. And so, Madam Speaker, you can receive it tomorrow, Madam Speaker, and we can receive it so we can table it, and we look forward to this motion being agreed to. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very good.
Thank you. Parliament will now vote. The question is that Parliament approve that 1, pursuant to Section 12, Clause 1 of the Audit Act 1969 and Section 152, Clause 13 of the Constitution of the Republic of Fiji, the Auditor General submit the report on the audit of the whole of government financial statements for financial year ending 31 December 2015 to the Speaker of Parliament and a copy to the Minister responsible for finance within 15 months of the end of that financial year to enable the report to be tabled at this sitting of Parliament. And 2, pursuant to Section 45 of the Financial Management Act 2004, in Section 152, Clause 14 of the Constitution of the Republic of Fiji, the Minister responsible for finance tabled the annual report for the whole of government for financial year ending 31 December 2015 within 15 months of the end of that financial year to enable the report to be tabled at this sitting of Parliament. Does any member oppose the motion? There being opposition, Parliament will now vote on the motion. Open the vote. Close the vote.
Opposed, 29 ayes, 15 noes, and 6 have not voted.
Thank you. There being 29 ayes, 15 noes, 6 not voted, the motion is agreed to. Thank you, honourable members.